Hello, my amazing artists. Welcome back to Art with Mrs. Knowles. We are going to be creating something called a Zentangle today. Have you heard of that before? A Zentangle is, well, this is my example. So a Zentangle is something that has the word Zen in it, right? What does Zen mean? Zen means that you're relaxed and maybe you meditate, you think about things. So it's supposed to be a relaxing way to make art. And as you can see, there's a lot of patterns. I made an ice cream cone. There's a lot of patterns involved. So basically you're just making a pattern and repeating it over and over again to fill up a space. So that doesn't sound too hard, right? Now I like to do Zentangles that are kind of small and you just kind of get into it. But your Zentangle designs could also be large, so it's totally up to you. So here's mine. I did an ice cream cone. Okay, are you ready to get started? All right. Okay, so here's my ice cream cone a little bit closer so you can see it. Now you notice that when I drew it, I have just a few different areas of my ice cream cone. So I did the cone and did a different pattern for that. I did a scoop with a different pattern, a second scoop with another pattern, and the third scoop with a little cookie thing and a cherry. So you want to do a simple design. You can come up with any kind of design, that's up to you. But the ice cream cone was just my suggestion for you. So can you think of something else that you could make instead of an ice cream cone? I bet there's things you can come up with. Okay, I'm gonna use a smaller piece of paper for this, just to make it a little bit faster. Now before we start, excuse me, I wanted to show you some designs that I came up with. So if you want to refer to these designs later, just skip back in the video and pause it, and you can look at the designs. So the Zentangles are just repeating patterns, right? It's just a pattern. You know what a pattern is. So some of my patterns I did curvy, some of them I did with straight lines. So you can just kind of decide how you're going to do your pattern. All right, so there's some examples for you. You can also Google Zentangle pattern and you'll come up with all sorts of cool ideas. Some of them even take you step by step through each thing. Okay, so here's how I did my ice cream cone. Remember, you do not have to make an ice cream cone, right? I started with a Sharpie. We are not going to use a pencil for this. Because if we make a mistake, guess what? You can just keep going and don't even worry about it. So when I was doing my ice cream cone, I was really thinking about just having different areas for my Zentangle. Well, let's see. Ice cream cones are just like a rainbow line on top with a smaller line on the bottom. You notice I'm not putting any details on it because my Zentangles are going to do the details for me. I'm just going to make this a 2-scoop one. A little cherry on top. Okay. So again, I can refer back to this if I need some ideas, or I can come up with my own thing. So I'm going to do the design that's kind of like wavy lines here. You can see I'm using my Sharpie because I know that if I make a mistake, I can just go back and fix it or change it somehow. Okay, so I got my wavy lines. You notice all the wavy lines came from the same point. Now I'm going to fill in between my lines using shorter straight lines. Remember, you can make up your own Zentangle design. You don't have to follow someone else. A Zentangle is supposed to make you feel relaxed. And so if for you, if it's easier to make up your own design, if that's more relaxing, then do it that way. All right, so you can see that I completely filled my ice cream scoop with that Zentangle. Okay, so I'm gonna work on this scoop now. I think since I did straight lines on this one, I'm gonna do some circles on this one. All right, so I finished my ice cream cone, and so now I'm gonna choose something to do for my background. Now, I actually really like doing this one because I like how the lines go up and down and then sideways. So I think I'm gonna do this one. Now for the background, you have to be patient because this is the biggest part, right? So be patient, take your time, and remember these are called Zentangles. Just relax. So as you can see, I finished my background and now I'm ready to add some color. Now the nice thing about using the Sharpie is that you can then use paint or water-soluble markers on top of this, and your marks that you already made are not going to smear, right? Because Sharpie is a permanent marker. But you could also use colored pencils would be great. Even crayons if you were careful, you know, going into some of the smaller spaces. So here is my example that I showed you before, and I used watercolors on my ice cream, and on the background I used watercolors, and then on top I used colored pencil to add the shadow. You see how I used a darker color to make it look like there's a shadow there. So you can use whatever you want to color. All right, I hope you have a nice, relaxing time doing your Zentangle drawings. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.